Beyond the asteroid belt, the UES Pathfinder drifted silently through space, its quantum sensors scanning the massive alien vessel that had appeared without warning at the edge of our solar system. Commander Elena Santos stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes fixed on the crystalline structure that seemed to capture and reflect the distant sunlight in impossible ways. "Analysis complete, Commander," Lieutenant Park announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Their energy readings are, well, they're off the charts. Nothing like we've ever seen before." Elena nodded, keeping her expression neutral despite the tension building in her chest. First contact. Humanity's first encounter with an advanced alien civilization, and it had to happen during her watch. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared her for this moment. The alien vessel's surface rippled like liquid mercury, and suddenly, a transmission cut through their communications system. The bridge crew froze as a figure materialized on their main viewport, a tall, ethereal being with iridescent skin and multiple pairs of eyes arranged in a geometric pattern. "Representatives of Earth," the being spoke, its words translated instantly by their AI systems. "I am High Commander Vesh of the Meridian Collective. Your species has been observed and found wanting. Submit to integration or face extinction." Elena felt a familiar calm settle over her, the same feeling she'd experienced during the resource wars when everything had seemed hopeless. "High Commander Vesh," she responded, her voice steady. "I am Commander Elena Santos of the United Earth Fleet. We respectfully decline your offer." A ripple passed through Vesh's eye pattern. "Surprise, perhaps." "You decline. Your species barely comprehends quantum mechanics. Your ships still rely on reaction mass for propulsion. You have no defense against our weaponry." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "With respect, High Commander, you're making 3 dangerous assumptions. First, that technological advancement only follows one path. Second, that we've shown you everything we can do. And third, that humans follow predictable patterns when threatened." "Your bravado is noted, but meaningless," Vesh responded. "We have conquered 37 civilizations more advanced than yours. Our technology is beyond your comprehension. Our ships can manipulate the fabric of space-time itself." "Then let me share a story from our history," Elena said, taking a step forward. "Centuries ago, on our planet, there was an empire that encountered a small island nation. The empire had superior technology, greater numbers, and absolute confidence in their victory. They demanded submission. The island nation refused. Do you know what happened?" "Enlighten me." Vesh's tone carried a hint of condescension. "The empire was defeated, not because the island nation had better weapons, but because they failed to understand their opponent. They assumed technological superiority guaranteed victory. They didn't realize that humans are at their most dangerous when backed into a corner." The bridge fell silent as Elena continued. "So, High Commander, I'm giving you a warning, not out of bravado, but out of compassion. Retreat. Leave our solar system. Because if you force this conflict, you'll learn what countless others throughout our history have learned. Humans don't follow your rules of warfare. We adapt, we improvise, and we never, ever give up." Vesh's multiple eyes narrowed simultaneously. "You dare threaten the Meridian Collective. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. Your defenses cannot withstand our quantum arsenal. That's the 3rd time you've underestimated us," Elena said softly. "We're not showing you our weapons, High Commander, because humans learned long ago that the best advantage is the one your opponent doesn't know about. You see primitive rockets and assume that's all we have. You detect radio waves and assume that's how we communicate. You observe our visible defenses and think you know our capabilities." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But let me ask you something. Have you wondered why, despite our primitive technology, we've been able to block your quantum scans of Earth? Why your probes disappeared when they crossed certain boundaries in our system? Why you can't detect any military installations on our planet despite clear evidence of a space fleet?" For the first time, Uncertainty flickered across Vesh's features. "You're bluffing." "Maybe," Elena smiled. "But ask yourself this, can you afford to be wrong? Because if you are, if humans are more than you assumed, you're not starting a conquest, you're starting a war. And if there's one thing humans excel at, it's winning wars we were supposed to lose." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Lieutenant Park cleared his throat. "Commander, they're powering up their weapons systems." Elena nodded, reaching for the quantum-encrypted communicator that would link her directly to Earth Command. "Then they've made their choice. Send the signal. Operation Pandora's Box is now active." As she watched the Meridian vessel's surface begin to pulse with energy, Elena felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. The Meridians were about to learn what so many others throughout human history had learned the hard way. Technological superiority means nothing against human ingenuity and determination. The real question was, how long would it take them to realize their mistake? The Meridian fleet emerged from quantum space like a constellation of artificial stars, their crystalline ships refracting sunlight in dazzling patterns. High Commander Vesh watched Earth's meager defenses with all 4 pairs of eyes, a scattered collection of what appeared to be primitive orbital platforms and antiquated warships. Curious, his science director Nira observed, her iridescent skin pulsing with patterns of thought. The humans have made no attempt to conceal their defensive positions. Either their strategic thinking is primitive, or they want us to see exactly what they're showing us. Vesh finished, a flicker of unease rippling through his consciousness. Something about Commander Santos' warning gnawed at him. Begin the attack sequence. Target their orbital platforms first. The Meridian fleet's quantum weapons powered up, preparing to unleash energies that could tear apart the fabric of spacetime. But as the first salvos fired, something unprecedented happened. The primitive orbital platforms didn't explode. Instead, they seemed to absorb the quantum energy, their surfaces rippling like disturbed water. Before the Meridians could react, the platforms released the energy back, not as weapons, but as a cascading wave that disrupted the fleet's quantum communications. Impossible. Nira's skin flashed with alarm patterns. They're using quantum reflection technology, but our scans showed no evidence of such capabilities. On board the UES Pathfinder, Elena Santos allowed herself a grim smile. "Phase 1 complete," she announced. They took the bait, launched the J-Ghost units. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of small, seemingly inactive satellites suddenly came to life. To the Meridian's quantum sensors, they appeared to be simple debris, fragments of old spacecraft and abandoned equipment. But these were humanity's secret weapons, gravitational harmonic oscillation stealth technology units. Their quantum fields are destabilizing, Lieutenant Park reported, monitoring the enemy fleet's confusion. J-Ghost units are performing exactly as designed. They think their own systems are malfunctioning. The Meridians had never encountered an enemy that fought like this. Their technology was superior in every way, but they'd never faced opponents who turned that superiority into a weakness. The J-Ghost units didn't try to overpower their quantum systems. They simply introduced subtle gravitational anomalies that made those systems unreliable. "This is impossible," Vesh declared, watching his fleet's formation break apart as ships struggled to maintain quantum coherence. "They're savages. Their most advanced ships still use nuclear fusion for power." "That's what they wanted us to think," Nira realized, her skin paling. "Commander Santos was warning us. High Commander, I'm detecting energy signatures we've never seen before. They're not using quantum technology. They're using something else entirely." Elena's voice came through their compromised communication system. "We gave you a chance to retreat, High Commander. Humans didn't develop quantum technology not because we couldn't, but because we found something better. We learned to manipulate gravity itself." As if to emphasize her point, several Meridian ships suddenly found themselves caught in localized gravity wells, their quantum drives useless against the fundamental force of the universe itself. The humans had developed technology that didn't try to bend space-time. It worked with it instead. "Launch the Fireflies," Alina commanded. Thousands of tiny drones, each no bigger than a human hand, swarmed from Earth's orbital shipyards. Unlike traditional weapons, these didn't attack the Meridian ships directly. Instead, they created a complex web of intersecting gravitational fields, turning space itself into a weapon. "Fascinating," Naira whispered, watching the human strategy unfold. "They knew they couldn't match our quantum technology, so they developed something completely different, something we never considered because we were too focused on manipulating space-time rather than working with it." Vesh watched in growing horror as his mighty fleet was effectively neutralized, not by superior firepower, but by humans' fundamentally different approach to physics and warfare. Their primitive technology wasn't primitive at all. It was elegant in its simplicity, devastating in its effectiveness. "Your quantum technology is impressive," Alina's voice came through again, "but it has a fundamental weakness. It tries to force the universe to bend to your will. We learned long ago that it's better to adapt to the universe than to fight it. That's why we developed gravity manipulation instead. No quantum field can protect you from the very force that holds galaxies together." As the Meridian fleet struggled to adapt to this unexpected form of warfare, Alina gave the order that would demonstrate just how thoroughly they had underestimated humanity. "Activate the gravity corridors. Show them what happens when you try to fight a species that turned their own planet's gravity well into a weapon." The space around Earth began to ripple as humanity's true defensive network revealed itself, not energy shields or quantum barriers, but carefully constructed gravitational architectures that could tear apart any ship that didn't know exactly how to navigate them. The Meridians were about to learn that sometimes the most advanced technology isn't the most complex. It's the one that works with nature instead of against it. The defeat of the Meridian fleet's first wave should have been the end. Instead, it was merely the beginning. High Commander Vesh, his pride wounded but his resolve hardened, had called for reinforcements. Now thousands of Meridian warships surrounded Earth, their crystalline forms creating an artificial ring around the planet. "They're adapting," Lieutenant Park reported, studying the tactical display aboard the Pathfinder. "Their quantum shields are modulating to counter our gravity corridors." Alina Santos watched the enemy fleet's movements with growing concern. The Meridians were learning, evolving their tactics. It was exactly what she'd feared. "They may have cracked our first defense," she said, "but they still don't understand who they're fighting." "Lieutenant, initiate Protocol Hydra." Across Earth's orbital defense network, a new strategy unfolded. The humans' gravity manipulation technology had never been their only advantage. It was merely the first layer of a defense strategy as complex as humanity itself. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility unknown even to most of Earth's military, Dr. Maya Chen activated the Quantum Entanglement Array. "Operation Hydra is live," she announced to her team, beginning neural network integration. The Meridians detected the change immediately. Their quantum sensors registered thousands of new energy signatures appearing simultaneously across Earth's surface. But these weren't weapons or shields. They were something far more sophisticated. "High Commander," Naira called out, her skin flashing with confusion patterns. "The humans are. They're linking their consciousness. They're creating some kind of collective intelligence network, but it's not like anything we've seen before." Vesh watched in fascination as the human defense patterns suddenly became erratic, unpredictable. Each ship, each station, each defensive platform began operating independently yet somehow in perfect coordination. It was chaos theory turned into military strategy. "Impossible," he whispered. "No military can function without central command, without hierarchy." Alina's voice cut through their communications again. "That's where you're wrong, High Commander. You see, humans learned long ago that the most resilient systems in nature aren't hierarchical, they're decentralized, each part capable of acting independently while serving the whole. The human fleet demonstrated this philosophy in spectacular fashion. Their ships broke formation, each seemingly acting randomly, yet their apparent chaos masked a deeper pattern. Like a swarm of insects or a school of fish, they moved with an organic fluidity that made them impossible to predict or counter effectively. They're not just coordinating their actions. Naira realized, her scientific curiosity overriding her military discipline. They're sharing consciousness across their neural network, but maintaining individual initiative. It's beautiful. The Meridian Fleet's rigid formations, designed to channel quantum energy efficiently, suddenly became a liability. Human ships slipped through their defenses like water through a net, striking from impossible angles, retreating before they could be targeted. You based your entire civilization on quantum mechanics, Alina explained, her voice carrying a hint of pride. We studied quantum mechanics too, but we also studied biology, ecology, social systems. We learned that the strongest networks aren't the most organized. They're the most adaptable. Dr. Chen's voice joined the transmission. Your quantum technology tries to impose order on chaos. Our neural network embraces chaos, channels it. Each human pilot thinks independently, but acts as part of a greater whole. We don't need to coordinate our actions because we've evolved to work together naturally. The Meridian Fleet's perfect formations began to break apart as they tried to counter attacks coming from all directions at once. Their quantum shields, designed to resist specific types of energy, couldn't adapt fast enough to the constantly changing nature of the human assault. This isn't warfare, Vesh protested. This is madness. No, Alina corrected him. This is evolution. You evolved to control your environment. We evolved to adapt to it. And now you're learning why that matters. As if to prove her point, the human fleet suddenly shifted tactics again. Their seemingly random movements coalesced into a new pattern, one that turned the Meridian's own quantum fields against them. Each human ship became a node in a vast, living network that didn't just resist the enemy's quantum weapons. It redirected them, using the Meridian's own energy to strengthen Earth's defenses. They're not just fighting us, Naira observed with growing awe. They're learning from us, adapting our own technology even as we fight. How can any species learn so quickly? The answer, though none of the Meridians fully grasped it yet, was simple. Humans had spent their entire history learning, adapting, and evolving. They didn't just develop technology. They integrated it into their very way of thinking. Each defeat taught them new lessons. Each challenge forced them to evolve. And now, facing their greatest challenge yet, humanity was showing exactly why they had survived every catastrophe their harsh world had thrown at them. They weren't just fighting for victory. They were fighting for evolution itself. The quantum storms above Earth had finally subsided. 3 days of continuous battle had left both sides regrouping, reassessing. In her private quarters aboard the Pathfinder, Commander Elena Santos studied the tactical displays with Dr. Maya Chen's holographic projection. They still haven't figured it out, Maya said, her image flickering slightly. The Meridians think our neural network is just another weapon system. They don't understand that it's merely the interface for our true advantage. Elena nodded, watching the enemy fleet's movements. Time to show them why humanity never revealed its full capabilities until now. Initiate Project Phoenix. Deep within Mercury's core, hidden quantum processors that had lain dormant for decades hummed to life. On Mars, beneath the red desert sands, ancient facilities built in secret began their activation sequences. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden infrastructure awakened. Energy spike. Lieutenant Park's voice echoed through the ship's comm system. The Meridians are launching their final assault. Over 10,000 ships incoming. High Commander Vesh had committed his entire force to this attack. The Meridian fleet moved with renewed purpose, their formation adapted to counter human gravity manipulation and neural network tactics. They had learned from their previous failures, but humanity had been counting on that. They adapted to our previous strategies. Elena transmitted to all Earth forces. Now let's show them why that was exactly what we wanted. Execute Phoenix Protocol. Across the solar system, gravitational sensors detected a change that seemed to defy physics itself. The space between planets began to ripple, not with quantum fluctuations or gravitational waves, but with something far more fundamental. Impossible. Naira's voice cracked with disbelief. They're manipulating dark matter itself. The truth that had been hidden for so long finally revealed itself. Humanity hadn't just developed gravity manipulation technology or neural networks. They had spent generations secretly researching the one force that quantum mechanics couldn't fully explain: dark matter. You see, High Commander, Elena's voice carried across all frequencies. While every advanced race focused on quantum mechanics, we looked deeper. We found that dark matter doesn't just hold galaxies together. It can be manipulated, shaped, controlled. But only if you're willing to think differently about the nature of space itself. The Meridian Fleet's quantum shields suddenly found themselves fighting against the very fabric of space-time. Dark matter, invisible but all-pervasive, began to alter the fundamental constants of physics around their ships. Your quantum technology is impressive, Dr. Chen added, her voice joining Elena's, but it depends on the laws of physics remaining constant. We learned to change those constants locally, not by fighting against nature, but by understanding its deepest mysteries. The Meridian ships began to falter as their quantum fields encountered spaces where the speed of light itself had been altered, where gravity followed new rules, where the very constants they relied upon became variables. This is beyond anything we imagined, Naira whispered, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was seeing. They didn't just develop new technology. They discovered an entirely new paradigm of physics. Human ships began moving through spaces that shouldn't have existed, appearing and disappearing as they navigated through dark matter corridors. Their weapons weren't just gravity beams anymore. They were targeted alterations in the fundamental forces of the universe. We kept this hidden, Elena explained, not because we feared you, but because we knew that any sufficiently advanced civilization would need to discover this for themselves. Understanding dark matter requires more than just technological advancement. It requires a fundamental shift in how you think about the universe. The Meridian Fleet, for all its quantum superiority, found itself fighting an enemy that could literally change the rules of physics around them. Their weapons, designed to manipulate space-time, became useless in regions where space-time itself followed different laws. Your final assault was predictable, Elena continued, because you still think in terms of conventional warfare, numbers, firepower, technological superiority. But we've spent generations preparing for something far more significant than mere combat. We've been preparing to help the galaxy take its next evolutionary step. As the Meridian Fleet struggled against forces they barely understood, the truth became clear. Humanity hadn't just been developing weapons or defenses. They had been quietly unlocking the universe's deepest secrets, preparing for the moment when they could help guide other civilizations toward a new understanding of reality itself. The question was, would the Meridians be wise enough to recognize this opportunity for what it was, not just a defeat, but an invitation to evolve? High Commander Vesh stood alone in his crystalline observation chamber, watching his mighty fleet drift powerless in space. The humans had not destroyed them when they had the chance. Instead, they had simply waited. "They're requesting to board, High Commander," Naira announced, her iridescent skin now dim with exhaustion. Commander Santos and Dr. Chen personally. When the human leaders stepped onto the Meridian flagship, they'd brought no weapons, no guards. Elena Santos and Maya Chen walked the crystal corridors with a quiet confidence that spoke volumes about their civilization's true nature. "Your ships are disabled, not destroyed," Elena began without preamble. "We could have annihilated your fleet the moment we revealed our dark matter technology, but that was never our goal." Vesh's multiple eyes focused on the humans with newfound respect and curiosity. "Then what was your goal, Commander? To humiliate the Meridian Collective?" "No." Dr. Chen stepped forward, her holographic form shimmering slightly. Our goal was to force you to see beyond your own assumptions. Your civilization has achieved incredible things with quantum mechanics, but you've become trapped by your own success. Trapped? Naira questioned, her scientific curiosity overtaking her military reserve. You stopped looking for alternatives, Alina explained. You found one path to advanced technology and assumed it was the only path. Humans, we never stopped looking for new ways, new possibilities. The humans activated a holographic display, showing the true extent of Earth's technological achievements. Hidden throughout their solar system were vast networks of dark matter manipulators, gravity engines, and technologies that defied conventional physics. We knew other civilizations would find us eventually, Dr. Chen continued. We knew they would likely be more advanced in conventional terms, so we prepared not by trying to match their technology, but by finding entirely new ways to understand the universe. But why hide it? Vesh demanded. Why maintain the facade of being a primitive species? Elena smiled. Because we learned long ago that true advancement comes not from having technology, but from understanding why you need it. We wanted to meet other civilizations as equals, not conquerors or subjects. Your quantum technology is incredible, Dr. Chen added. But it's just one way to manipulate reality. We discovered that dark matter, gravity, and consciousness itself are all interconnected in ways quantum mechanics can't fully explain. But this discovery required us to first accept that our initial understanding of physics might be incomplete. Vesh stood in silence, processing the implications. You could have shared this knowledge from the beginning. Would you have listened? Elena asked quietly. Would you have believed that a primitive species could discover something your civilization had missed? Sometimes, the only way to teach humility is to demonstrate why it's necessary. The silence that followed was broken by Naira's excited voice. The mathematical implications alone, the potential applications, this changes everything we thought we knew about physics. Exactly, Dr. Chen smiled. And that's why we're here now. Not to defeat you, but to invite you to join us in exploring these new frontiers. Humanity has only scratched the surface of what's possible when you combine quantum mechanics with dark matter manipulation. Together, we could discover so much more. A partnership, Vesh questioned, his tone mixed with disbelief and hope. An evolution, Elena corrected. Your civilization mastered quantum mechanics. We found ways to manipulate dark matter. Imagine what we could discover together once we move past the idea of superiority and embrace the possibility that every civilization might have something unique to contribute. As the implications sank in, the crystal walls of the Meridian flagship seemed to pulse with new energy. What had begun as an attempted conquest had transformed into something far more significant, the beginning of a partnership that would reshape both civilizations' understanding of the universe. We came to conquer, Vesh said slowly, but instead, you've shown us how much we have yet to learn. The Meridian Collective accepts your offer, Commander Santos. Let us explore these new frontiers together. As Elena and Maya exchanged glances, they knew that humanity had achieved something far greater than a military victory. They had proven that true advancement comes not from dominating others, but from remaining humble enough to recognize that every civilization, no matter how advanced, always has more to learn. The war that never needed to be had ended, and in its place, a new chapter in galactic history was about to begin, one written not in the language of conquest, but in the shared pursuit of understanding.